This is where beetroots. This is all coriander, some chard and some spinach over there, some carrots, a few left at the end. Nothing better than a homegrown salad. The natural environment, what we would probably assume as the environment in normal conversation, is important for me because it's what I love, it's where I feel comfortable. Very early on in life, I've always been at home outdoors. Just always wanted to be outside. I think that, like I said, all of my good memories are outdoors, pretty much. I remember as a child often being out and playing and just looking at the intricacies of the plants, and I used to pretend to be magic and make potions and take this and that and the other, and then I'd go and rub it on the tree that looked like it was crying and like and always wanting the world to be a better place. I've always been quite emotional, I suppose. I think keeping a hold of that innate connection that we have as children is really important. You know, some people, you go for a walk in a beautiful place and you see big bin bags full of rubbish left there, tents just left in the middle of a beautiful place, and you think, why have these people bothered to drive out of the city in the first place? To come to this gorgeous, surely they're there to appreciate the landscape, and then they just leave all of this crap. And that disconnection I find really hard to understand. But yeah, if you love something, then you want to preserve it and you want to share it and you want to improve it. And a lot of people, I think, feel there's no point in trying because I can't do it perfectly. And I think that's totally missing the point, because any little choice that you can make that will make even the tiniest bit of difference, if you scale it up, if you think about it mathematically, has the potential to change everything. Like one thought, one conversation with somebody has the power to change everything. That's another thing. Talking about these issues with people and finding a way to talk to them that is connecting with them and not attacking them would be a great way to make a difference, I think. And every day I'll try and talk to somebody, you know. I'll always try and talk to the crazy person that comes up to me and be nice and just sort of say something about organic and alternative life choices. I would like to do something that was more based around education, getting people and kids out into nature and learning how to grow their own food and sort of developing that nature connection. I do voluntary work like that through the summer, which I really enjoy. Whittling and things like that, it's quite nice.
I've got 39.
I've got
38.
I've got 39 as well.
I've got 39.
There's one lying down over here.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
There are 10 down there, or 11?
it's 11.
Okay, that's 40 then, that's one. The life that I grew up in was pretty low impact. I grew up on a small family farm, close-knit family around, and who'd they lived a completely different lifestyle to the lifestyle that people live in this country now. And particularly my granny she would reuse everything, and she'd be so careful about how she used everything. Nothing would go to waste, or if it wouldn't, things shouldn't be thrown in the bin. They would be recycled or upcycled or reused or something. And I remember hours of things like peeling the foil off the back of if you have a Kit Kat or a kind of chocolate bar or something, and you got the metal foil and the paper backing, and she would separate it. And so the foil went in the recycling and the paper separated it out. And on the farm as well, growing up, there was just that concept of nothing being wasted. Things would always have a use. There were sheds full of things that would come in useful in years to come. I just remember spending so much of my childhood in trees and in hedges playing. The back of our house, there was just it wasn't really wasn't a wood. It was just sort of an overgrown old hedgerow, but that then carried on through into the fields, and yeah, I would just spend so much of my time just climbing through there and building dens and playing in that space. And now I still love hedges. Like, I could spend all my time just laying a hedge or planting trees or anything like that, and just exploring what's it living in the hedge, the nests, and again, it's sort of something that's almost like, feels like it's in my blood, just from those sort of early childhood experiences. So yeah, my time is spent in ways which are as much as possible in activities or spending time outdoors in the natural environment. That's with my family as well, with my wife and my children and family and friends. And yeah, I choose to take part in activities which have the lowest impact. I love nature, I love the environment. If you don't interact with something, you'll never appreciate the value of it. I think the fact that children don't get enough time outdoors and kind of having the experiences of just being out there, essentially valuing what the natural environment gives to them, and they are being consumed, and our society is trapping them in a world of valuing more things on screens, through technology, with a consumer lifestyle, and that's being done by real adults. Biodiversity loss, habitat loss, climate change, pollution, plastic, air, but all the negative impacts that humans are having on the the world, on other species and other aspects of the planet, would be completely solved if we didn't live in this artificially constructed human world, completely separated by degrees of connection with the natural environment.
At the moment I'm studying for a thesis which is the impact of Brexit on nature conservation and how the changes in laws might affect nature in the UK. When I was about 7 years old, I remember just obsessively watching David Attenborough's Blue Planet, and then I also grew up around the Dungeness area, which is a massive nature reserve, and I just have really fond memories of wildlife watching out there. I was the kid who drove the teachers mad at primary school by telling them everything I knew about whales, dolphins and birds. I guess it was just always there, and then I just needed something to make it just click. And it was getting into killer whales in captivity that did it. And I'm currently studying for a master's degree in environmental consultancy. So the environment, it basically gives us everything we need, doesn't it? It allows us to breathe, gives us stuff to eat, gives us medicines, it's just what we are. And to see it trashed so much, it's just absolutely heartbreaking, because it's our livelihoods that have been trashed. I first went vegan 2.5 years ago. I haven't eaten meat since 2013, but about 2.5 years ago I went with my university course out to Malaysia, and I realised just how much my food choices impacted the environment, and that basically made me go vegan very quickly. And I first started reducing my plastic intake sort of about 6 years ago, when I first started becoming extremely passionate about environmental causes. A memory that I have of when I was a kid, when we were around Dungeness Nature Reserve, it was absolutely pouring with rain, and my brother was complaining, and I was just like, no, this is absolutely incredible. And because I looked out of the bird viewing thing, and I just saw a field just full of lapwings, and lapwings are really rare these days. And I just remember thinking, that is absolutely incredible. I noticed that most of the people on my university course, they've always had a backstory of, I grew up in the countryside, so I saw this animal every day, and things like that, whereas other people just don't have that connection. I think that if you're apathetic about it, or you don't really know that much about it, then you're not likely to care as much or try to reduce your impact. Whereas if someone is more aware, they will try and reduce their impact. Because once you know about these things, it's hard to turn your back on them, and you feel like you have to be responsible for it, because we're all part of the environment. We all have a major impact whether we like it or not, and we all have the power to undo some of this terrible stuff.
I planted all this. I've grown my own forest. It's called Frank's Forest. I've spent so much of my life outdoors, and almost all of it, even when it's been pissing with rain, has been enjoyable, really. I grew up in a place like this. I grew up, and then I moved to Tavistock as a little boy, and Tavistock it's got a river in it, it's got disused quarries everywhere, it's got woods all around it, it's easy to get to by bicycle, it's got railway lines that were just taken up, so all my memories of being outside and doing stuff, whether it's with kids or with friends or on my own, are pretty good memories, even the bad ones, really. The more people realise they depend on it and the more time they spend in nature, the more kind of amazed they are by it, really. It sort of, if you spend a little time, it opens everybody's eyes. My parents' attitude to things was a start. They wouldn't be cruel to anything. My dad would stand up to people who were. And my dad worked for a firm that made agricultural buildings. And one day he saw an old farmer, a very old farmer, with a very old sheepdog. And it had its front right foot tied to its collar. And my dad said, "Why'd you do that?" Because he run off when he was young. And he'd been like that all his life. There's a whole lot of ridiculous things that we do that sort of just cause pain to things for some weird pleasure that we have, and I don't have that pleasure. I don't like watching boxing matches. I don't like seeing people getting hurt. I don't like seeing animals getting hurt. It's like to find an abandoned bird's nest with a little chick dying in it because somebody's poked around with it or been too close with it as a dog, to die before you've had a start in life. That seemed particularly cruel. Sorry, I'm getting weepy again. But yeah, I kind of like a lot of people. I exist on a bit of an emotional level as regards to nature. Really, I can't watch that film of orcas killing baby seals. Can you? No. I know it happens, and nature's red in tooth and claw, but you don't have to make it harder for everyone. And I eat meat, so when I shoot meat, I've got an air rifle out here. I shoot stuff from time to time and eat it. I don't kill anything I don't need to kill. Certainly not for fun. I take care of what I have to take care of. I don't create more mess than I absolutely have to. I don't litter. I clean up after myself, and I clean up after a lot of other people from time to time. I just realise we've got a valuable planet and we should look after it. We are ruining the planet basically by being greedy and selfish and short-sighted.